Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today we are diving in and looking at our abilities to choose. Are you allowed to have the things that you desire for your life? Are you allowed to make choices for yourself? Or do you find yourself always talking yourself out of your choices? Do you find yourself often checking in with others to see if what you want to choose is acceptable or right or good or something that you can even have? Do you often hear that dreaded, you can't have that, you don't need that, you shouldn't choose that? A lot of that again, ability to choose. Are you able to choose anything that you desire? Understanding that this is actually truly an ask and receive universe. Understanding that you truly can have anything that you desire. And if you have a desire for it, that means that you have a capacity to create it. Okay. We're never given a desire for something without the capacity to create it. So if you've always desired to have a certain type of house or a certain type of car or a certain type of relationship or a certain type of love, right? It doesn't have to necessarily just be material things. I'm talking about everything as a whole. If there's always been a job you've always desired to do, a yearning within your heart that you've always had, or even a new yearning of your heart that you've been really feeling pulled into, that is the universe telling you that you have the capacity to create it. We never have a yearning without the capacity to create it. Okay, so today we're going to look at our ability to choose. Okay, and the ability to choose is really tied into the solar plexus chakra, which is what we're talking about this week in the Conscious Empath group, in the Conscious Empath on Facebook. We're looking at the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra is the third chakra of our 7 chakra system. Working our way up here, we did last week, we did the sacral chakra. And the week before that, we started with the root chakra. So we're up to the third chakra here, the solar plexus chakra, which translates to the city of jewels, which is really known as the seat of our soul. This is located in the upper belly, kind of like right above your belly button, if you will, in the diaphragm area. And it really acts as our center of personal power. Okay, our solar plexus controls our personal freedoms to choose our life. This is where we connect with our purpose, our willpower to create our life, and our motivation to make things happen. In addition, it also stores our self-confidence. The connection points to really truly how we view ourselves. And again, what we can choose, right? How we view ourselves and what we can choose are so interconnected. Like if we're viewing ourselves as this, broken, poor child, then more than likely your ability to actually choose anything is very, very small. I know many of us, especially if we grew up in a lot of lack, if we grew up in an environment where you weren't allowed to have things that you wanted, or you were shamed and blamed into, how dare you, or, people told you often that you were ungrateful, or, if you never really had your basic needs met in a way that allowed you to feel safe and free to choose what it was that you desired to choose without somebody making you feel bad about wanting that, right? So many of us grew up in an environment where, people asked you, let's just take even for example, people ask you what you want for Christmas, and then you tell them what you want for Christmas, and that's too expensive, or you can't have that, or, that's not correct, or that's not right, right? And somebody told you that what you desired wasn't wasn't in within your reach to have it, whether it was too expensive or you were too young or you were too immature or you were too whatever, right? This is where we store those viewpoints. This is where we made the connection points to, oh, this is who I am. This is how I should view myself based upon these outside source views. Now, this isn't necessarily true as you become an adult, but oftentimes this is where, as a child, they say by the time we're 10 years old, we have stored a lot of our energetic connection points to who we think we are and what we think we can choose, right? And as you've been doing this work is really where you're going through and kind of clearing out those connection points to those different decisions and ideas and points of views that are keeping you kind of looping in that limitation. So today, we're talking all about this concept of our ability to choose. And really truly, what are you able to choose? Do you have the free range to be able to choose anything you desire? Are you still finding yourself kind of looping in that space of, you can't have that, you can't choose that, you're not qualified for that, you can't have that, it's too expensive, all of those things. Again, let's kind of back it up here for a moment. Anything that you desire to have in this reality is available to you. We live in an ask and receive universe. Anything that you have an awareness of or a desire to have in your life is within your capacity to create it. It really depends on if you can receive it or not. Okay, so if you're thinking about, a job that you would love to have, and your repeating thought is, what if I fail, or what if I'm not good enough, or what if I'm, what if I'm whatever, what if I, you know, whatever thought you're having there, right? That's your ability to choose, because the reality is you can have anything you desire if you have the capacity to choose it and the ability to receive it. Yeah, take a nice deep breath for a moment. Everything, all of that is, and everything in the way of that, and all of the, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog in and around this, everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I'm just going to kind of vortex this out. If you've never listened to Expand Your Reality before, essentially what we're doing is we are doing consciousness clearings. We are clearing out the energy, space, and consciousness that is you are holding on to, that is preventing you from having what it is that you desire, that is keeping you locked up and limited and parallels and form and structure that doesn't work for you. So when I say everything, all of that is, and we grab the energy, we say, can we just choose to remove all of that now? All you have to say is, yes, I choose that now. And we're just going to clear it out of there. And that's going to actually truly give you more space to be able to perceive the energy around the things that we're talking about. So, so if you have more questions about that, you can listen to some of my other shows. I think there's a show all about consciousness clearings that it kind of explains that a little bit more. So today we're talking about the solar plexus, choices, right? So if your solar plexus is blocked up, if it's unbalanced, your choices are going to feel very limited. You're often going to feel as though you're not allowed to have the things that you desire. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be things. It can be attention. It can be love. It can be happiness. It can be, a job. It can be anything, right? You're just not allowed to have anything that you desire. Not anything, but many of the things that you desire. So if you feel this energy of feeling hopeless or stuck or like, your life is never ever going to change because maybe you can't, create more money, or you can't move out of the home that you're stuck in, or you can't have a different relationship with anybody around you, more than likely you're dealing with a solar plexus issue. I'm very blessed in the fact that I found consciousness work uh, when my children were very young. So I feel like I did a lot of healing when they were very young. And what that actually did create was it created me being a parent with complete and total allowance for what my children wanted to choose and do and be. And this week in particular, I'm actually celebrating a very big win for my oldest daughter, who is 21 years old. And if you're an avid listener to my show or any of my programs or anything, I'm sure you've heard me speak about her before. I talk about my kids in a lot of the programs and things I do because I think it's so important for us to understand how when we heal, especially as parents, if you're a parent of children right now, and they don't even have to be young children, they can be grown children. The thing is when you shift and change your life, it allows your children to have a different possibility. I know when I went through and kind of shift and changed and healed a lot of my own life, I actually really changed not only the relationship with my kids and helped my kids kind of heal from the traumas of the past. And I definitely had a piece of instilling some of that trauma for sure, because I definitely wasn't healed when I first had children, right? But also I also healed my relationship with my mom and changed a lot of the places and spaces where me and my mom functioned. So when we look at the solar plexus chakra, the whole reason I bring up my daughter is because this is all about, today we're talking all about choices, right? And about how this solar plexus chakra is our center of our personal power and our ability to choose our life and to create our life moving forward. So my oldest daughter, again, we're celebrating a very big win this weekend. My oldest daughter is actually graduating from Columbia College in Chicago. And I have a story here I want to share today I thought would be really fitting in this as we're talking about the paradigm of choice and really understanding that, again, if you feel like you can't choose anything, if you feel like you can't choose something, it's an energy imbalance. There's an imbalance somewhere. There's form and structure that has been implanted in your universe that is telling you you can't have that, you can't choose that. Because the reality is you can have and choose anything you desire to have and choose. So I'm going to kind of go back here and share some stories here about kind of this whole journey with her and the ability to choose and kind of how that all relates to each other. So when I got into consciousness work, one of the very first concepts I really started diving into is this idea that you can have anything if you choose it, right? And understanding this universal law of asking and receiving, and understanding that, you truly can have anything that you desire. So I actually had been doing consciousness work for a while when I met my husband, my current husband now. And in 2013, we got married. And at that point, we had been dating for a few years. You probably maybe have even heard my podcast on conscious relationships. When we got married, we didn't take an oath and a vow till death do us part. We chose a conscious marriage, and we chose kind of a conscious commitment. So when we got married, we actually went on a wasn't really a honeymoon because we took my 3 kids at the time. My husband didn't have any kids. My husband, when I met my husband, he didn't have any children of his own. I just had my 3 girls. So we all went on when we got married, we all went on a little vacation. And we decided to go to Chicago, as none of us had been to the city. And my girls, my oldest in particular, at the time, gosh, it would have been, this was 2013. So this was, what, 8 years ago? So she would have been 13, something like that. And so at that point, she'd had always wanted to go to the city. Kind of all my kids had wanted to go to the city. So we get to the city and, we did all the touristy things that you do when you're in the city of Chicago for the first time. And we rode the double-decker buses and we, tootled around the town. And while we were driving around the town, we seen this really cool, artsy looking school. My daughter pointed at it and said, "When I get older, I'm going to college there." She pointed at that school, and I didn't even look at the school's name. And I said, really? And again, at this point, I was really in this place of like, if that's what you want to choose, let's make it happen. And we kind of talked about it for a minute. And I said, well, that would be really cool. Like, I would love for you to go to to school in the big city. So fast forward to many years later, and my daughter is actually, so my oldest daughter, again, in this paradigm of really encouraging my children to really choose their life and really, explore with different things. The thing about choices is every single choice creates an energy in your life. So when my daughter was in high school, we have a skill center program here in the county that I live in. And she actually had kind of two different passions at the time, if you will. Number one, she really always kind of wanted to be a cosmetologist. I think partly because I was a cosmetologist. I am a cosmetologist from a previous life, at least a previous lifetime. In this lifetime, I was a cosmetologist prior to doing this work. So cosmetologist was kind of always one of those things that she always kind of thought she wanted to do. And then they also had a film program at this skill center. So she actually decided in 10th grade that, hey, I want to do both of those programs. And we went to the school and we said, hey, is it possible? Can she do both of these programs? I know that technically speaking, in a trade school, they would only choose one program or the other. And they said, oh, well, I don't know if we could figure that out. And the school was kind of like, yeah, probably not. Well, we had went to the skill center and the skill center said, oh yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of kids who take two programs. I mean, it's a little harder on the school. They got a little, they got to figure things out a little bit differently, but you can absolutely do that if you would really like to. She has to apply and be accepted, of course, but she definitely can. So I said, well, let's choose it then. You want to do the cosmetology program. So the cosmetology program was 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, so she would go 11th and 12th grade. And at the end of that, she would become a licensed cosmetologist when she graduated from high school. And the other thing was there was a 2-year film program. And at the end of the 2-year film program, she would have this like big, huge film portfolio. Now that was one of the things that she really wanted to do. So I encouraged her. I said, well, let's do it. Let's choose it. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. So after lots of work, kind of working our magic here and our power of choice, we did end up creating this environment where she got to go to the skill center for both of these programs. So while she was going to skill center for both of these programs, her senior starts, she's in her second year of cosmetology, she's in her second year of this film program, and she is a senior in high school. And her film teacher, who just, really, at this point, she had gone to state boards her junior year. She won first place. He said, she is so talented when it comes to film and how to, create different angles and how to do these different things. And he said, he said to both of us one evening while we were having like an open house thing, he said, she would do great at Columbia College. And at that point, we both kind of looked at each other like, okay. And he said, it's in Chicago. And we were like, okay, because we'd been looking at all these schools. And the thing about that, one of the things that you start to really get to when you open up to this complete and total power of choices is a lot of times you'll hear all these other choices and nothing will light you up, nothing will light you up, nothing will light you up. And you'll think, gosh, these are the only choices I have available to me. And all of these choices feel really flat. Well, when he said Columbia College of Chicago, it was like my body all lit up, her body all lit up. And she was like, oh my gosh, do you think this is something that I could choose? And I said, I don't know. Let's go home. Let's get online. Let's check it out. Right. So we get on and we find out that there is actually like a, what is it called? Where they do like the little presentation thing where they tell you about the school and it wasn't at the school, it was actually in Michigan somewhere. And so we signed up for the little presentation to learn more about the school, and we go and we sit in the audience and they start playing this presentation first thing. They start, they play this like video about the school, and it has this whole half an hour presentation. I'm sitting there and I'm watching this whole presentation. I'm watching my daughter and I'm feeling her energy and I'm feeling how excited she is, and all of these different there's so many perks to going to this school and so many different things that are available to these students that go to this school. And I'm feeling how it's just completely lighting her body up. And they get done with the presentation, the little video presentation, and the woman gets up and she's going over the little spiel, and she's doing like a slideshow thing, and they get to the price of the school, and they turn the slideshow to the price of the school, and they put the price up there, and the people in front of us, there's a daughter and a dad in front of us, and the dad looks at the daughter and says, "I don't know who you think I am, but there is no possible way that you are going to this college. That is way too expensive." I don't think that was the exact wordage that he used, but I do remember that he said something to that effect. And mostly what I remember is the energy of defeat when when the price came up, and how he felt like there was no way that his daughter could choose this school based on the price. And I remember the feeling of the energy that radiated off of them in front of us. And I looked over at my daughter, and she looked at me and she said, "Mom, it's okay if it's too expensive. I don't have to go here." And that was the day that I said to her, "We are no longer looking at prices for anything. You get to choose whatever it is that you would like to choose. And if you want to choose this school, you're choosing it, and it will all come together." So, long story short, she chose the school. And when she made that powerful choice, and I have a lot of conversations with moms about this, especially going into kids with college, like, oh gosh, the price of college feels very overwhelming. And how do we figure out, how to pay for all of this? And the reality is all you have to do is choose it. Okay, number one, you make that choice to choose what it is that you desire. Then you allow the universe to bring you opportunities and possibilities that are going to help you create that choice. So that day when my daughter made that choice to go to Columbia College, we from that point forward, we went into every avenue we possibly could look at that would assist her in financial aid to make that a reality for her. Because at the time, I couldn't choose to pay I think it was $43,000 a year for her to go to college. At that time, I didn't have $43,000 for her to go to college. And I definitely didn't want her to take $43,000 out in loans to go to college, right? So, long story short, the whole reason I shared that story today is because yesterday actually was her very last day of her college career at Columbia College. She just finished her bachelor's degree. And so yesterday was her very last day of school. This weekend, we are having our graduation party for her. She's coming home for the weekend. And she is officially, when she moves back, or when she goes back after she comes home for the weekend, she is actually moving into her very first high rise, which has been a goal for her since she's moved to Chicago. She wants to live in a high rise right off of the lake, so she can. She loves to visit the lake there. The apartment that she's in now is not far from the lake. It's about 6 blocks or so down. But she's always kind of wanted to be in one of those high-rise buildings ever since she moved to the city. Her first year, she was in a dorm that was in a high-rise, but it wasn't kind of the same. She wanted to be in one of those fancy high-rises with the doorman and the rooftop pool and the gym and all of the things that comes along with that. And I'm happy to announce that Monday, when she goes back to Chicago, she is actually moving into her first high rise as an adult, as a graduated person of Columbia College of Chicago with her bachelor's degree, moving into the 17th floor of a high rise that's right by the lake. So she has a beautiful view of the lake. She can walk to the lake. It's essentially right across the street from her building. There's a doorman and a rooftop pool and a big gym. And I'm just going to put it out there that the reason that she is living the big life that she is living is because she has the ability to be able to choose exactly what it is that she desires to have in her life. And not only does she have the ability to choose it, but she allows herself to have the ability to receive it and create it with ease. And everything that doesn't allow that for you. Yeah, and all of that, 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 and everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of you universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And everywhere it feels too hard for you to even get clear about choices and having choices and being in your choice, everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. If choices feel really hard for you, you definitely want to be working within your solar plexus chakra, because again, here is your personal power. This is your connection points to what you can have, how you create, what you're able to create your life as. Everything, all of that is right there, and all the connection points to all of that, and everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And everywhere it feels like, oh, that's true for other people, but it could never be true for me. And that right there. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And all the unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, and energy fog, keeping you looping in that energy right there. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Nice deep breath, and I'm just going to vortex this through here. We're just going to give you more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space, more space. And all the confusion around this, and everywhere it feels like sometimes I get this energy that's kind of stuck in that same the same like kind of solar plexus area where it's like, yeah, it's that energy right there. It's like everybody else can have that, but I'm not allowed to have that. Everywhere you're not allowed to have your ability to choose. Everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I'm just going to vortex this out for a moment. So within the chakra series, I actually have the chakra series is a series of clearing calls for each chakra. So there's like a call for each chakra that specializes, or not specializes, but goes over like that specific chakra, gives you a whole bunch of information about that chakra. And then there's another call that's like a deep dive kind of, we use the healing energy, the frequency energies to really deep dive into that chakra. So there's a solar plexus, like it's called a processing call, where I play the healing frequencies, and we really dive into a lot of the different energies that I'm aware of that hang out in the solar plexus area. Then my husband actually recorded a solar plexus meditation that kind of takes you on a journey through the solar plexus that has frequency music along with it that was designed especially for the solar plexus chakra. And then there's also series of clearing calls. There's a whole clearing library, all for just the chakra clearing library as a whole. So the chakra systems in the solar plexus, there's actually one call called removing the check-in systems. The check-in systems are really where kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the call, where you're checking in with others to see if you're able or capable to choose what you want to choose. So this would be if you're making a choice about something in your life and you're going, oh gosh, I got to call my mom and see, what she says about it. And I have to call my aunt and see what she says about it. And I need to call my grandma and see what she says about it. And I need to ask everybody I know their opinion on if I should choose this or not. And then you fret and sit with, can I, should I, right? Those are the check-in systems. So there's a clearing call all around removing the check-in systems in the solar plexus area. There's also another clearing call called fueling the system of choice. And this is where we're going to be really looking at those reference points of the past and judging ourselves for those old choices that we've made, right? And this is often where I hear people say things like, oh, well, I've already tried that before and it didn't work. Or I did that once, like, I've been married before and, the marriage fell through, so I can never be married again. Even though I desire to be happily married, I must not be allowed to be happily married because I was married once and I was miserable. It's kind of like that, right? And then the other clearing call within the solar plexus is the images within the self. And in this clearing call in particular, we're looking at self-acceptance, we're looking at self-confidence and self-worth, and really clearing out all of the form and structure around those paradigms that are stopping you from truly embracing who you are, and really that personal power within the solar plexus. The thing is again, you can have anything that you desire. If you have an awareness of something that you would like to be, do, or choose for your life, you have a capacity to create that. The only thing that stands in your way is energy built on form and structure of thoughts and ideas, points of views. And people will tell me sometimes, oh, but it's really impossible because I don't have the money. Or, I don't have a way. Or I'm not qualified, or, all of the different reasons and justifications for why they can't have what they desire. And I'm here to tell you that that's all bull crap. It's just all point of view. It's all belief systems and old storage systems of crap. You can have anything that you desire to have. This is your universe. You get to decide. So if you're ready to change all of that for yourself, go to my website, Jamie, Jamie-Bates, Bates.com. Click on the link on the homepage. There's actually the free chakra course. You can take the free chakra course and you can sign up for the paid chakra course, which is going to deep dive into every single one of these chakras that we're talking about. In these last couple weeks of the Expand Your Reality, I'm going to continue through. Each week we're doing a different chakra, a different concept in which the chakra holds the energy of. So I hope today kind of gave you some new energy and some new space to understand that. Again, if you have the awareness that you would like to have something, be something, do something, choose something, you have the capacity to create it. Yeah, breathe that in. Allow yourself to receive. You deserve to be happy in this lifetime. Isn't it time that you balanced your energy and moved on with your life and paradigms that work? Yeah, I think so too. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope that you enjoyed the call. Thank you guys for the love. And if you haven't joined us in the Facebook group yet, the Facebook group is the Conscious Empath. Also, you can go to the page, which is the Conscious Empath, and all my programs are found now at consciousempathprograms.com. Thank you so much for listening to my show today, and I will talk to you soon. Hope you have a great day.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.